Καλώς ορίσατε σε ακόμα ένα επεισόδιο των ένα Meeple Την ημέρα. Είμαι ο Βασίλης.
Είμαι ο Ανδρέας.
And I'm Chris Loizou.
Σήμερα, today we are going to interview Chris Loizou, a Cypriot designer based in France, and we will interview him about his ongoing gamefound campaign, about his new game, board game Ascendia, that is in the universe of the Cursed Empire universe, and a continuation to his previous games, Heroes of Thargos, Battle Mages. We will leave him explain everything to us analytically. So welcome, please.
Thank you, Andres. Thank you, Vasilis. It's a real pleasure to be here with you today. It's a really exciting time. I just checked where we are today with the gamefound. It's 91% funded, so it's very, very close.
Just a little bit left.
Yeah, a little bit left. So just very close now. We about 15 backers based on the average pledge level, so very, very close. And I wanted to give you guys and your viewers some background about this really crazy 30 years of world building I've done with Cursed Empire. So Cursed Empire is an RPG, a dark fantasy. You can probably see from the visuals. It's a dark fantasy RPG. I published in 2001 was the first edition. Second edition was 2004. And then I published 10 RPG books, a graphic novel. It was a hobby. At this time, it was a hobby. I was doing this for fun with my friends and so on. And my wife, who's still my wife, she's very patient, Karen Loizou. So basically, we did a lot of conventions. We were based in the UK. And we had a good following. We had like a fan base at the time. So Cursed Empire itself, I will not bore you with all the text, but I can put a link later with a download for this PDF if you want to read. It's a really dark fantasy setting. Absolutely, exactly. It's a really dark fantasy setting with a lot of factions and guilds. In fact, in the game world, there are more than 100 guilds, factions, cults, orders, night orders. It's a kind of crazy geopolitical backdrop, a lot of intrigue and backstabbing and lots of treachery and lots of fun. So it allows us.
We love this in our games. Backstabbing, we love it about it. We enjoy a lot.
Well, this is the ultimate backstabbing background, really, because it's very hard to trust people, and you have this. One of the core mechanics in Cursed Empire, and it runs through all our games, is renown. This notion of renown, of how well you're known, either famous or infamous. It's a double-edged sword, because of course, the more famous you are, your cult will sponsor you, and so on. Your order will sponsor you, but then you get hunted down. So your price has a head. Your head has a price, and so on. So renown is a core mechanic in the game world. And I'm just giving you a little bit of a run through some of the visual kind of cues and the background. As you mentioned, and I thank you in the intro, we already have 2 games already released, which is Heroes of Thargos, a deck construction game, solo player versus player, and also team play. Battle Mages, which I'm really glad to say that it's designed by Zach Lugar. Yeah, Cypriot, a Cypriot game designer. So I'm really thrilled to be supporting the growing Cyprus, let's say, game design community. Go ahead.
We met him at the Cyprus Tabletop Gaming, and we told him to take him to make an interview with him, and he was a little bit shy, so we didn't make the interview.
After this, he'll have no choice. He'll be on. I'll make sure he's with me next week. He's actually coming next week to UK Game Expo.
Cool.
So with UK Game Expo, he'll be with me, and I'll make sure he's on the next one. He'll like that. So we also have an expansion out. Another starter deck coming out soon as well. I mentioned the RPG. Second edition, as I said before, was published in 2004. Third edition, there's a holding page now on Kickstarter for third edition. Now, this is the third edition RPG with like a GM, or what we call Master of Tales core book, a player core book, and then even a 5th edition conversion module, like optional conversion module for 5e players who play D&D. They can also get straight into the setting. It's another point of entry and get straight into this crazy dark fantasy game world. And from the RPG, really is the backbone. Everything else flows. We also have more than 300 miniatures. These are 32 mil scale, so Warhammer style scale. Some really nice fantasy minis. They can be used in different settings, different games. I have some people who do skirmish games who love them, but also we have a dedicated Imperial Guard, the Darkens, who are really the worst scumbags in the game world. There's some really nice characters in this. This is just a little snapshot. You can find them on the web store. There's a whole ton. There's more than 300. And then we have big box games now, what we call them the big box games. So Ascendia, which we'll zoom in on shortly. But we also have Guilds of Kernel, which is being designed by two guys in the US, Philip and Gene. And this is very much a deck builder / area control game.
Is it in the same universe?
Oh, yes, all of this.
Everything. So these are upcoming games. These are upcoming games.
Yes,
coming to list.
Absolutely. These are upcoming. And people who have played Guilds of Kernel, it's really exciting because it's much more heavyweight than the other games. This is medium, gateway plus medium. This is heavyweight. This is more heavyweight as well. But this game, some people played it, they kind of compare it to Dune Imperium vibe, that kind of level. So it's very exciting. You play a guild master in the city of Kernel, which is an imperial city, and the Empire tolerates criminal gangs because they're less bad than the really bad guys. So it's a lot of, once again, this notion of a little bit of hypocrisy. We have high values, high moral ground, but actually we work with the scumbags because they're less bad than the really bad guys. So, but you have to, you're a guild master, you progress your guild influence whilst treading carefully between the civil war between the Empire and the South. You're kind of backing both sides. You have to be careful how you play because you may get noticed if you're backing one too much. Great game. The guys are doing a fantastic job. This should be coming to crowdfunding. Yeah, exactly. 2026 should be crowdfunding 2026. Medbetok, another game set in the Imperial City, or it was the former Imperial City in Magic, which the Empire razed to the ground. Their own city, they destroyed it. It sounds very contradictory, but they had a lot of magic academies and schools with a little bit of law, and they were starting to dabble in dark magic.
As the Russians in the past, Bear Moscow, before Napoleon came into the city to conquer it, right?
Yes.
Let's put a touch of history, right?
I love history.
Similar.
I'm a huge history buff, a huge history fan. I love history. So there's probably some influence in all of this from historical events. Medbetok is fun because basically the city was ordered to stop its dark magic teachings. They refused because they were actually infiltrated by the enemies of the Empire. So they sent their army in and wiped out the city. So it's being trashed by its own army. And basically the players, what did the players do in a nutshell? You play a core hero, you have a hero board, and you unlock certain, obviously, powers. You power up your hero. And as you unlock them, you take the cubes off the board, you place them on these hexes. You have a kind of randomized hex board which grows. It's like a city crawler, hex crawl game. And you also have minions, mercenaries, followers around your core hero. And it has multiple quests, almost like branching scenario type quests and so on. It's beautiful. And that's being designed by Ryan and Evan in the States, in Portland. The guys who designed After the Empire, for those who know them from Grey Fox Games, they're the designers of that game. So they're on board for this game. Fantastic. We're presenting this at Essen last year. It went down a storm. Very excited. So this could be and should be maybe even crowdfunding this year if everything goes to plan. Then we have The Hunt, which is a completely insane project. I'm the lead designer on this one. It's a massive dungeon crawler. The Hunt is 100 A4 dungeon tiles, either in a spiral-bound book, so play out of a book-style game, or dedicated cardstock dungeon tiles. Tons of minis, or a Ascendia version as well. It's a huge dungeon crawler, spans 10 chapters, has its own 3-hour soundtrack, has image recognition software on an app. It's insane. Okay. This is a really, really huge project.
Minis? Does it also have minis, I assume?
Of course.
For sure.
Of course. There's an option with minis, but I always like to have standee versions too. Because I don't want to live. I always feel, and Ascendia you'll see is the same, but I feel very strongly. I want to make sure games are accessible to everybody from a budget point of view. People don't have time to paint the minis. I don't want to limit access to our games. I want to always have a standee level game, and then they can build up. War Galleys is another game with some warships, ancient warships. A card game that's on standby at the moment. I've given it less priority than the other games because the big games are taking over, but we'll come back to this. But a really fun, you manage a fleet of ships and you have to go, there's pirates, there's sea monsters, there's pirates. It's Pirates of the Caribbean, meets dark fantasy, a lot of fun.
The adventure.
Ascendia, of course, we'll zoom into more detail on Ascendia, but this is just a kind of holding page on Ascendia. And I think this is interesting for the viewers as well. This is the roadmap where we are today. So the game's already published. What's obviously coming with the RPG crowdfunding, Ascendia, we hope to crowdfund very, very soon. And then the other games, really where they are in terms of the design process, just to kind of capture. And that's a combination of it's more artwork and graphic design here, which is the playtesting side of these two is very advanced. So it's more about now the visual aspect, the visuals, the artwork, the key characters, some of the quests. There's still work to be done, but it's less on the balancing and the playtesting, much more on the visual and graphic design, making it, let's say, crowdfunding ready, at least to get the interest.
Cool.
So I will just a little bit skip from here. Okay, so this, I just want to show this because once again, I like to show the viewers the effort we're trying to make as a small company. We love minis, we love miniatures, and Damien Espirou, who's a French miniatures painter, he lives literally 10 minutes from my house. He painted the minis for Ascendia, but he also kindly, after me asking, he kindly wrote this tutorial, step-by-step tutorial. So the idea is people buy the minis, for example, version of the game, and they get a step-by-step guide how to paint them. But also what I really liked what he did, which was really nice, he actually, down to someone really starting out in the hobby, what paintbrushes to buy, which colors to get, what is the best lighting, a really nice, user-friendly, some of the base colors, optional, so essential paints, optional paints. So someone who doesn't want to paint the full, because you'll see there's 3 levels of finish, which I think beautiful, because you can have, let's say a father and son or a mother and her daughter, they want to buy Ascendia, they want to have a family activity before they play the game. They can sit down, they can do the painting, and they can reach a good level, a good standard, and basically build up. So we have every single step here. It's a freebie download. It's on the website. It's part of the Ascendia campaign. We're trying to add value, really add value for our followers.
So when you buy Ascendia, you also get a tutorial how to paint minis, some essentials to how to paint minis. So this adds value to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And this, because I always try, I put myself always, I'm a backer, I'm a gamer, I'm a backer, we back games. But for a small company, even our preview, our campaign page is in English, French, and German. We translated all 3 pages, which not everybody does. Even some of the big companies, I know they don't. So we put 3 languages, and we even this is going to come out in French as well. But the fact is, I really like this. It kind of shows the entry-level painting standard, which is a really nice, absolutely tabletop standard. Very nice to have as the characters on the board. This is more present. These are the ones I have. They will not be going on my game table in case someone drops them. But I like these different levels, so it's something nice to have. So I just wanted to show you that. I think it's nice to kind of look at it, and I will just now. Are there any questions at the moment? This is of course Ascendia, but are there any questions so far?
I will let you talk about it. Until now, you were very. How do we say it in English? Very graphicos.
You gave us a lot of details, so we are really into the theme right now.
So we will let you do the fine job that you do until now. So we are very eager to hear the rest.
Thank you. So basically, here you have. This is how Ascendia presents itself. So you have a setup, which is, let's say, the standard setup, where you have the village in the center of the board itself, the village tile, where a lot of the action happens. Now, on the village tile, we highlight the difficulty level starting at 10. So you need 10 to convince the villagers you're going to be worthy of their trust. What is the actual? Why are the players even there? Why are the heroes there? What's the background to Ascendia? Ascendia is it's a hidden valley, which is very, very far from the conflict that rages, the war that rages in Thargos. And we intentionally made even the visuals less dark, more mainstream, more, let's say, family friendly. This was absolutely intentional because we wanted to draw more people into the setting. And thematically it works very well because this valley is far removed from the war. For them, the war is something they hear about sometimes. It's not in their neighborhood, so they're not so worried. Now, Ascendia has been living for centuries in prosperity. There's a lot of resources. They never lack resources. There's lots of game, wild animals. The people have generally a very good standard of living there. And their lord, alas, sadly, passed away and has no descendant. There's always a problem. So the villagers start fighting. Who's going to be in charge? I'm the smartest. He's the strongest. So actually, the elders, they say this needs to stop. This is not good. Let's send messages to all over the valley and even the outer regions to invite suitors or people to come forward and present themselves on the village square to convince the villagers they are worthy of their trust, worthy of leadership.
We all vie for control of Ascendia.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So it's really fun because you come in as a when you start the game, each hero starts with a very basic equipment, and so really the starting level is very basic, and then you slowly build up your character. So the idea is you would start all the attributes. You have 3 core attributes, which are foraging, fighting, and charm, which like your charisma. And as you add items, you will start obviously increasing the attributes themselves. You're going to be collecting renown points, little tokens, to build up your credibility. So you could be the best fighter, you could be the best crafter, you could be the best hunter. So as you complete certain quests, certain actions, you will then build things up from there, and you can then be more credible. Once you have enough renown points, you then present yourself in the square, the village square. You have then a charm roll, plus any modifiers, plus your cubes or your gems, your renown. And then if you succeed above the difficulty threshold, you win the game. So it's a push your luck mechanic. If you go early, you may not have enough cubes. If you blow it, if you don't have a good speech, you get thrown out of the village with tomatoes and lettuce and whatever, and come back, rotten carrots, whatever it is, come back when you're credible. So you lose all your renown. Yep.
How the speech is translated to game mechanics?
Charisma.
So charisma, the charisma level.
Yeah, it's a mixture. You have to do basically. So you have a difficulty level, starting difficulty level, and based on that, you have to, with your renown points plus your roll plus your modifiers, you have to be equal or above. But that difficulty goes up if there's another opponent in the village, because basically they're ruining your speach. They're shouting, "Don't listen to them; they're useless. Don't believe them." So then they trash your speech for every opponent in the village, but equally for every 2 enemies or obstacle items on the board, you also get a difficulty level off. So it's hard to present yourself to the village and say, "Look how good I am. I've made the valley safe." When it's full of bandits and rats and worse. Okay. So you have to kind of clean up. So it's a balancing act, and the nice thing is there's multiple mechanics here, because it's a semi-cooperative game. You are competing, but there are also instances where you have to team up. How does it work? Every single time you roll a guardian, so we have these symbols on the on this dice. Here we are. I was lucky there. You have the guardian here, which is the guardian symbol. You actually you spawn a guardian. Now, these are ancient creatures that protect the environment, that protect the land. They take no sides in the conflict. They're not interested in the civil war at all. They just purely... Sorry, I have my cat. Gandalf wants to go out. I'll be right back. This is the beauty of... There we are.
So we'll see probably the big miniature now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So the thing is, each time you roll this, it's like a fumble. It's a critical fail, and you basically spawn a guardian. Now, once a certain number of guardians are out, and this is dependent on the number of players, it's game over. So they can come out, and you can leave them in place, but at some stage you have to do a bit of crowd control. You have to get rid of them. Now, to get rid of them, you can either, as you see here in the bottom right, you can either fight them, and they have a +2 in their combat. They're quite strong in combat, or you can also pacify them. You can appease them by giving them back natural resources. Because in this game, you can collect raw materials. So there's a crafting, raw material collection side of things. There's a trade side of things. So this, for example, the pickaxe needs 2 wood and 1 iron ore. So you can see in the top right-hand corner of the card, you need these items to craft. You can craft your own items from raw materials. You can then also trade. So, for example, let's say you don't have the right combination of raw materials. You go into the village. So you go here into the village to do a trade. And in the village, you can actually trade for items. You trade in raw materials or items you have to upgrade certain things. So basically, character progression is done through the action of adding items and powering up your hero. We also have, and this is the base game, and I want to make this point because we'll be releasing actually today a new update around some of the more expert level aspects, some of the more complex side of the game, because the base level game is really family friendly. I was running games again yesterday. We had kids with their parents playing, having a lot of fun. It's very easy to get into. A lot of dice chucking, but you have dice manipulation. You have these re-roll tokens. You have things you can re-roll. You can manipulate the dice. You can modify modifiers. A lot of dice manipulation. And so there is real strategy, and you can really choose your path to victory. You can decide to be more of a fighter, more of a trader, and that's very nice. You can also, so each player has 2 actions, and 2 actions amongst 3 potential actions, 3 different ones. You have, you can actually forage raw materials. So when you're on a hex, for example, with wood here, and you see a value of 1, I just need to roll a 1 or more on my dice, and however many dice it is, I could have multiple dice in foraging. If I get 2 successes, I get 2 wood. But if I roll a guardian, then I've actually disturbed nature, and then suddenly a guardian appears and I'm in trouble. So foraging is one action. The other action is exploration. So you can flip your exploration token. Oh, unlucky me, I've actually spawned rats. So maybe I was disturbing some wood in my exploration, and suddenly a rat's nest appears. And the thing is with rats, you then need to then get hold of rat poison. That's the only way to get rid of them. You can't fight them. They're a swarm.
Okay. So you need to have it from before in order to be able to play it.
Well, you have to get out of there quickly, go to the village, get hold of it, come back. You also have the third action you can do is move. Every single time you move, you then draw an event card. Now, event cards are a lot of fun. They bring a lot of theme. In this case, we traveled through from the woodland to the mountains, and we came across a wounded traveler. So who is this guy? You roll the dice, and actually it could be a bandit. It could be actually what seemed to be a poor traveler. You felt sorry for him. He had a bandage. He was not very well. He draws a sword. Yeah, he draws a sword and tries to steal something. So not a very nice guy. You're going to help him. Or he actually a genuine traveler. You roll a 1 to 4, for example, and if you give an item card, you help him out. Maybe you build a crutch. Maybe you had a piece of wood, and it's like an RPG vibe.
Yeah,
you build a crutch with him, and he thanks you. Yeah, and then he goes back to the village. He says, this guy was, Andreas was a really good guy. He built a crutch to my leg, and he helped me, restore my health. He's a really good guy. Vote for him. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or Vasilis. Maybe Vasilis was actually not such a good guy, and he lost the fight before. And I randomly chose that. There's nothing personal. So it's really nice because you have these. You have all these really cool events that happen, but you also have, there's a lot of things which are fun, rockfall and so on. There's a lot of different things can happen, but in the deck, we also have things like, I'm just going to randomly, I didn't shuffle these or prepare them at all. Let's just see what we have. Okay, let's see, I'll discuss it a bit later. But we have, this is very cool. So in the game, we love this, the fact you can actually tame animals. You can get your companions. So you have these really cool wild creatures that you can either go for the skin. So if you kill this animal, you get 2 skin, to the animal hide, from which you can craft items, armor, and so on, or clothing. Or you can actually manage to tame the animal, which is very, very cool. So let's assume, and just to tame the animal, it's the same as getting the hide. You have to beat it in combat. Mm-hmm. So you're actually, in essence, you're befriending it. You're not beating it to submission. You're befriending the animal. You approach it calmly. The animal was not sure about you. You managed to befriend it, became your companion, it followed you in the beginning, and eventually becomes your best buddy. So then what happens is
you throw the Pokeball afterwards.
Exactly. So then the idea is exactly, and then you equip here. So for example, then it's equipped. So you have a nice companion slot here on the side of the board. You have all these slots as well. So the player board you see here, you have on the top left, you have the any headgear, the body slot, the 2-hand slots or 2-handed slot, and then you have your inventory, your backpack, and so on. So this is really where just the player boards are very straightforward, nice visual artwork, very
nice artwork.
Thank you. Yeah, just really fun and just easy to read and really intuitive. People just get into it straight away. They have no problem, understanding where things fit. We had actually exactly, and we kind of planned, 10, 12-year-olds can play. We've had 8, 9-year-olds play, no problem at all. Mm-hmm. No problem at all. So really a nice family game. But once again, I don't want people thinking, okay, this is just a party game or a family or very, very basic game. It starts as a family-friendly Gateway Plus game. But when you add the extra layers I'll be showing you, it becomes something very different.
It has more depth.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So really, in terms of the other things I can say, you have all these different actions. There's a lot of replayability because in this setup we put the village in the middle, but you can actually shift the tile somewhere else. And actually, I'll use this as a segue a little bit. I'll just literally show you something else. And this is a little bit sneak. This is a little bit preview, very, very sneak preview. You're the first to see this. It's going to go out, yes? This is
cool.
you guys are the first. Exactly. So this is going to be on tonight's update. People have been asking for more stuff about the gameplay. So this is really nice because you can actually set up a seed system of the game. So you could decide with this, for example, if I take this token here, you can either draw them randomly or you can literally custom your scenario difficulty +1 in combat for all the opponents. So that bandit now is more dangerous. The guardian's more dangerous. All the opponents are more dangerous by 1. That saber-toothed cat is more hard to tame. Everything's become more tricky. Now this is a very high difficult level, 20 points plus. That's going to be a longer game. It's going to be tougher. It'll have different outcomes. Because also one thing I need to mention, I'll go back to it, but you lose if you have too many guardians. You also lose if the winter comes in. I'll show you later on. You can actually draw, every turn you draw a snowfall card. If the whole valley freezes over, everybody dies or everybody loses, basically.
Okay, so there is a change in seasons.
Yes, so there's a timer. So basically there's a countdown. You have your push your luck. So it's finding the sweet spot between, okay, in 3 turns the valley will freeze over. I need to go now. I don't feel great. I'm not a great speech teller, or I haven't got enough renown. But to hell, I'm going. Otherwise, we'll all freeze to death, and I need to do something.
Before the winter comes. Praise yourself.
Absolutely.
Time is running out.
Exactly. Okay. So this really is. So this is nice. It really can affect your starting gear. You even make resources more scarce. There's a lot of things you can. There's a lot of little levers you can play with as a gaming group to really up the ante. And one of the great feedback we had on the game, we've done a lot of a ton of demos. Literally, hundreds and hundreds of people played it now. We have this feedback that the game is in a real sweet spot. Why? Because you have a lot of. I'm a big fan. I like heavy games. I like Gloomhaven. I like Kingdom Death. This end of scale. Darkest Dungeon. All this stuff. Then I like party games, fun. Skyjo with my family at Christmas. We play that as well, and other games. And then in between, there are a lot of games, but there's kind of in the adventuring RPG vibe mini-start games. There's not a lot of things in the middle. There's not a lot of things in that sweet spot where it has manageable difficulty levels, and this plays fast. This is the other thing. It's not a 3-hour game because we all often have it. It's hard to find gamers to get them around the table, to get them together, to play, especially big campaign games. You get a really good one-shot game. It literally takes an hour and a half, even if you have this 20 difficulty level. So it can play fast. You still get the complete exploration vibe. It was very nice. We had Kimberly Tolson from Rado Run-Throughs on her channel. She kind of characterized it. She said, "What do you get if you cross Catan with Skyrim?" That suits me. I love the comparison. It's nice to be compared with Catan and Skyrim. So this is the first image. The other one is, and you're seeing this is really hot off the press. Literally, we're going to be releasing this quest. We have a questing system that's not in the base game, but it's in the core box. Just to be clear, once again, for backers and anybody watching this, it's going to be in the box. It's not an expansion. It's in the core game, but these are extra layers you then bring in. Once you play the tutorial mode, the entry level, you have a questing system. So a multi-tiered questing system where you can basically get renown quick, but get less, or build up and follow a questing path to become the Beastmaster or the champion of the blade, etc. This kind of almost like character class RPG vibe. You follow a certain path because basically the starting characters. There's 2 modes for starting the game. You start with symmetrical characters with no special abilities, no special powers or anything, or you can do asymmetrical. So that's another thing. And then
it gives you something to guide yourself in a certain way to achieve it. So and you have careers, so you can unlock. You have these careers. We win it like set collection. So it's a really nice. These are really nice layers, and they're just extra little items in the game that change completely the vibe of the game. With a career path, with set collection, with a marketplace, you'll see the marketplace. It brings the level of the game to a totally different level. The other feedback we had was, and I love this one, that people said, actually, I've realized this is a game I can play with my kids, but actually with my expert gaming group, the game grows in difficulty based on the opponent. We can add the modules afterwards to adjust it according to the company that we play. If we play with kids, we remove a little bit of add-ons. If we want to play more seriously, we add a bunch of add-ons of modules, so we make it more to our taste.
Exactly, spot on.
Yeah, that's
and then we have personal abilities. So these are special powers each hero has. And once again, the idea is here because you have a first player. And then the idea was that when you get to choose these personal abilities, you either randomize them, so you get a random one each, or in a more, let's say, tactical setup, you say, okay, last player chooses the first one. Okay, and you have this advantage that being the last player, you get to choose the first, and then the first player gets whatever's left. So we once again we personally, I guess it's my way of GMing or running RPGs. I do a lot of homebrew stuff. I do a lot of almost many games. I always do a little homebrew something or home rules. So we like this idea of, and actually this was some feedback from some gamers. They love the idea of personal abilities. They say, yeah, but Chris, it would be nicer if we had this little mechanic where, the last player gets to choose first. You're right, it's included. So this is the kind of stuff we're really receptive. And over the course of the campaign, we already had some other feedback from some other people. We want to incorporate this. So people need to understand that by, they're addressing the publisher directly, the lore master of the game, Phillips, the lead designer, he's part of the game as well, obviously. So we can actually tweak and we can fine tune certain things. People can make it their own if they want to get involved. So that's fun. Then we have boss, your boss fight. So there's a monstrosity, a fantastic miniature. It's huge. And this boss fight thing it's introducing people to boss fight. You don't have loads of different combat or different, let's say, fighting styles, but it's just a much tougher thing to beat. Right? And it blocks when this beast appears on the edge of the board, it works its way to the village. In 2 turns, it's in the center. It means you can't win the game. You can't trade anymore. So it just blocks gameplay. You have to kill it. You have to get rid of it. And of course, you can't go and try and convince the villagers you're the worthy leader if there's some monstrosity standing in the square.
An abomination outside the village.
There is a crisis.
You need to destroy it first.
Exactly. Yes. So it's really fun, but it brings in the notion of boss fights. And we've seen kids and families, they love this. It's really exciting for the kids, this build up to the big nasty monster. I mentioned about the free map layout. The base game, we normally start with the village in the center. In other games, it can be X-centered somewhere else, which creates an interesting dynamic for travel and where resources are. And you can randomize the layout of the resource tiles, or you can really build in this way. This is the woodland here, this is the outer mountain ring. You can really kind of create a vibe. You decide, and it changes a lot.
Replayability.
It's a modular board, right? Or is it these 3 layers?
No, it's a modular. It's individual hexes.
It's individual, so it's modular. So every time you can find yourself in a different situation. Replayability skyrockets the replayability value.
It's huge. Yeah. And you imagine these combos of all these hexes, the combos of all the expiration tokens with the question marks, and the combination of all the encounter cards. It's insane. There's thousands of combos. I mean, really. Okay, I'll just now go back to, because I kind of missed something which is pretty major. Ascendia Seasons of Thargos. It's in the name, and I should be more kind of awake on that one. But basically, the first player has, every single time it comes back to their turn, and right in the beginning, the first turn, they draw a card from the Snowfall deck. Now, the Snowfall, it basically has an arrow pointer, and you have to align it with the village hex, and it tells you which. So in this case, okay, that's TTS rotating it for me to make it harder for me. But basically, this one would have frozen over. So this would have been like this. It would have had its 2 tokens, and you'd flip this. You look at this, and you then know with the orientation. Okay, this. So what happens is not only the land is losing access to the resource, so that's important. So now there's no clay anymore. The ground is frozen over. The clay is rock hard. You can't get access to it. So the valley will slowly transform into a wasteland. And that's really fun, because then, depending on where located, where you are, exactly, it's coming. Winter is coming in. It's getting more of a kind of tense vibe, but you also have some value, because on these hexes here, I mentioned before, you have what we call story points. These are the free rerolls of one die. Story points. Eventually, you flip them over when you use them, and they're no longer activated. But you can go to one of these hexes, and as the icon shows, you spend an action, you refresh all your story points. Basically, thematically, your character's going to the Winterland, into the car, in the peace and quiet in the snow, in the forest, or on a cliff or something, and just not too close to the edge. And they're basically just meditating, relaxing, and then it's one of the rare moments of calm in this game. But then you get your story points back. So it's a really cool mechanic there. But also, you have in here, there's some thaw cards. So sometimes some of these frozen over tasks can freeze back. So can thaw, and then the frozen wasteland goes away. But I also, because I like to up the difficulty level, I take out the thaw cards. So there's no going back. And in fact, in the final game, there's also going to be Snowstorm, where you flip over 2 hexes. We're going to make it tougher. We also have at the moment the event deck in this on TTS at the moment is a single event deck. We'll now have a winter event deck and a normal other season event deck. So every single time you cross into a winter hex, you have different events and more harsh, more wilder animals, more powerful, more worrying. So
more danger in
absolutely. So we're reinforcing this thematic feel, this kind of winter's coming, this threat vibe. So that's really fun. And each time this is flipping over, the board is freezing over, the guardians are coming in, so these creatures are coming in. It's getting more and more tense. I need to really throw myself in there. What happens if the Troger comes in as well? Then the game's blocked, and
so it becomes more tense and tense as the time passes. And I assume as the spaces get more get frozen, less spaces remain for the players to snatch. So it will be more between them, conflict between them. So
absolutely.
that makes it more interesting.
Yeah. So really, I mean, we wanted something which is slick, which is fast to play, which is fun, and the turns go really fast. We have this comment, systematic, unanimous comment. I can't believe how fast it plays. The turn is you're not waiting. You don't have this analysis paralysis. You're waiting for 20 minutes, half an hour for one person to make this perfect combo of cards and tokens.
So no downtime.
No downtime. It goes even better than this, because we had a situation yesterday, because this is for solo mode. This is I think frankly is amazing. It's just so simple. Where, for example, if you have, let's say this hero is a bot. Let's say he's a bot, so you can play solo against 3 opponents. You can play as a couple or 2 friends against 2 other opponents. You can always have a 4-hero game if you want. But basically, what happens here is you have there's a roll, and that's why I couldn't see it. There's an enemy die. You basically roll the dice, and this tells you where and what. Now, what do I mean by this? So I'm just going to roll this die. At the moment, the green, let's see, the bot is here. I'll roll this die here, and we get a 4. So I have a 4 value. I look on here, and 4 tells me I need to go down from where I am. He can't. So you can. There's two optional rules we have. He does nothing. He stays where he is, or you re-roll. Let's just say we do the re-roll version of this. Okay. So 6. He's then going this way, and he is getting 2 renown. So you see the 2 little crowns?
Yeah.
So he's then getting 2 renown. So he's done something. The bot has done something. You don't, as a player, we found that there's 2 approaches, 2 philosophies, in our opinion, to kind of solo gaming, and none of them are better than one another. Down to personal choice. Some players want solo games to have almost like a mimicked, recreated complexity of a real live opponent, a human opponent. Our approach was to have the tension, the agency of multiple player games, but really slick, really quick, but keeps the pressure and this building up race, because he would now have 2 renown, this hero, and if he does another reroll, he could try even attempt the village victory condition. So each roll, each turn, this bot will do something, maybe earn something, maybe lose something, but actually the fact he may have fought a bear, may have got rid of a bandit worth 2 renown, it's not so critical. We don't need to decompose and break down all those steps of gameplay, which would slow the game down. We just want to know, where's he moved and what did he achieve? And that single die roll is just a really, really slick mechanic.
It's fast. You do not need a whole track of if these do this, if these do this, if these do this for the bots. So it's fast, simple, and keeps the game rolling. Yeah,
absolutely. And yet we have the case yesterday. There was a family there, and the father had to step away and make a phone call. He said, "Sorry, I have to make a phone call. Maybe a little bit long." He stepped away. He was quite okay. Of course, players had to be okay with this. That we rolled the bot roll for him, and his character did something. He came back. Oh, I won 1 renown. How cool! So it was good. The game continued. So there was not, oh, okay, everybody now is stopping for half an hour. Oh, actually, we can't even finish it. Let's stop playing. It's over. The number of times I've played games where someone had to step out for a turn and it just killed the game. It's happened. This enables you to if people, of course, agree with that. Some people hate that. They want to play their character. They want to do their own stuff. Fair enough. Personal choice. We're not imposing anything. We like to provide some
options.
You have
You
options.
present them the options. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is really, in a nutshell, this is the kind of base game with the extra layers I mentioned I show you, which will appear in the update. There's a ton of stuff. And there's also an expansion part of the crowdfunding. There's also, I have here some little goodies here. So we have, for example, this is it's based on the Guardian. So there's a French sculptor in Bordeaux. He sculpts this really, so it's really nice, relief, really like 3D. It's a mini individual dice tower. So it's really the bigger foes, the Guardians. So this also, it comes in two versions, like a deck box and a dice tower version, an individual dice tower. And then this one, which is the Beast, and people love this on the game table, is it's monstrosity. I'll put it, scale against my head. It's huge. This thing is huge. You put this on the table. It's a crazy dice tower. You also have
a lethal weapon.
Absolutely. You can literally a rock. You can throw a bad news. It could be very dangerous.
So you buy it also for your safety, if something occurs.
Absolutely. So here you have little like ledges where you can put the minis as well. So it's also a mini display piece when you're not playing, and then you also have, we really like this, the simple thing of having the cave where you put the renown tokens. So when you win something, you have to go delve in the cave and just pull them out. People love this because they said it's just thematically, you have this massive mountain dominating your game table. The table presence is insane. It's just completely crazy. This thing's huge. It's 22 centimeters, nearly 10 inches. It's massive. And it's just a really cool dice tower. So, and it does come unpainted. So people have to paint it once again.
So this will be on the add-ons of the campaign, right?
Yeah, it's on the add-ons, but also it's in the all-in pledge. In the all-in
pledge.
Okay.
Cool. So how many days are left for your campaign?
I think 24.
24. Cool. And you are at 91%. You said to us at the beginning.
I think it was 90%.
90%. Cool. So you are almost there.
Absolutely.
We hope that the intention of this video was to help a Cypriot designer, a founder of a board game company, for people from Cyprus, because our channel is based in Cyprus. Our viewers are Cypriots mostly, so we wanted to give the little push that we could also give, because we are very new. Not many people watch us. We're only 3 months old, 4 months old, YouTube-wise. So we wanted to give you a presentation for the Cypriot people to see it, to see it more, and help also a fellow Cypriot designer, board gamer, and enthusiast of board gaming community. Yes.
And the game actually looks great. What I've saw, it's like a very thematic game. Like too many things are combined that it makes it really thematic. That's what you want from your board game. You want to play something. It can be simple. It can be competitive, but you want it to take you somewhere else for a bit. So it's a really nice game. It looks like a really nice game. I want to play it now.
That's perfect. That's good news. And we're going to be. Because I have my brothers in Cyprus. He's in Limassol. We made a special thing for the Cypriot backers. That actually we're going to deliver it to his house. So we even have pickup in Limassol. So no shipping charges, or Akis Express for €5 or something on the island. So really, we make, guys, we can't do more for the Cypriot backers to actually have like free shipping. I mean, pick up in Limassol and then Akis Express anywhere on the island. So
that's the first one. I think I didn't hear it before. So for Cypriots, if you are in Cyprus, you get it from Limassol or from Akis, so you do not have the excessive shipping with all this situation lately. Yeah, so that helps a lot. Yeah,
I hope so. I really hope that's my way of also supporting the Cypriot game community. So and also your channel. I'm going to be sending more people to your channel. I've already subscribed. I'm going to need more people to go to it. And of course, when this goes up, I'll be publishing it everywhere I possibly can. So to increase your viewership, I've seen some of the stuff you do is really, really nice. And, you know, I also wish you success as well with the channel. It's great, a great initiative.
Thank you very much.
And I will get Zach Luca on it as well. He doesn't know it yet.
At some point, yes, for sure. It was a pleasure speaking to you, Chris. It was a pleasure showing us your new game. We hope that it gets all the support it can get. We wish you all the best. All the best for your future games that you show with us that are ongoing.
Yeah, so we are going to wait for the next ones.
I look forward to that. Andreas, Vasilis, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, είμαστε ένα Meeple την ημέρα. Είμαι ο Βασίλης.
Είμαι ο Ανδρέας.
I'm Chris Loizou.
Τα λέμε στο επόμενο επεισόδιο. Bye.
Bye. Bye.